Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Leading Change. My name is Emma, and I've got Jackie with me today, and we're going to be talking about all of the foundational things that have to happen that sometimes we speed past in digital transformation. But before I get to all the questions that I've got for you, Jackie, can you give everybody an introduction?
Yeah, I'm Jackie Morales. I am Chief Operating Officer for Security Benefit Life. We're located in Topeka, Kansas, but several other locations around the United States. We are primarily an annuity company, and we focus on retirement planning for people and how to prepare people for retiring with dignity. So it's a great business to be in as the population continues to age. It's an extremely important place to be, and I am just so happy to be part of this industry. I've been in it for, more than 30 years, and I've been at 6 carriers and 2 startups, and I found my home in a company that is blending the best of the traditional carrier space with a startup and digital thinking mentality.
Well, I'm so excited to have you here. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about getting together for an interview, so I'm glad to have you here. And I want to start with just what I teased at the beginning, and this idea of foundational work that has to happen in order for a transformation to be successful. So can you kind of talk through what some of those stepping stones look like in your mind?
Yeah, it's really interesting because this isn't the sexy or exciting stuff. Think of it like if you were remodeling your house. Nobody wants to spend money on plumbing and electrical. They want to spend the money on the things that you can see and feel and experience. But it's so important to have those foundational elements in place. And I'm kind of your local plumber and electrical person. So what do you do first? Well, first thing you do is you structure a team. You're going to have a team that's focused on not what you would traditionally do in companies, which is create a project, do what the project says, in the project, go on. Digital foundations are almost like a living and breathing person. It never ends. You start one thing, you make an improvement, you move on, you make another improvement. It's a never ending cycle. And the goal is for continuous releases and continuous improvements in things that, as you build the foundation, these are things that make sense to people. They're things they expect. And so we're going to be looking at security benefit, and as many companies are, at everything from the new business process through the continuation of the life cycle of a contract or the needs of a person as they grow and change. We're looking at early investors for retirement all the way to people who are retirement ready. And so how do we create the capability for them to do the things that they want to do? So what are those basic things? What are those building block elements that we have to have in place? Well, first and foremost, let's get rid of the paper. Talk about e-applications and e-delivery. Why e-applications? Well, it's where it all starts. It's the experience that they have either online by themselves or in our world with a knowledgeable advisor who's helping them solve their problems. That goes on to creating a website that has the capability for document management. Can I see the documents? Can I see the transactions? Can I see the statements that I have on my account? Not just for now, but many years back, because sometimes you need that level of background information as you're planning for your retirement or you're watching your needs change and grow. Going on to self-service. Used to be a world where it was 9 to 5 and people worked within the confines of what a company wanted. It's now a 24/7 world, and customers expect 24/7 access. And one of the things I talk about, Emma, is that we don't get compared to other insurance companies anymore. We're compared to the banks. We're compared to the credit cards. We're compared to the online shopping experience. So imagine the capabilities and ease of doing business that happens in those platforms, and the same is expected from us. People also want to know where their order is, all right? If they're on Amazon, they want to know where their order is. If they're working with us, they want to know if they've requested a transaction, a check, or some kind of change. Where is that? Is it on its way? Is it being worked on? And when can they expect that to be done? And then finally, choice. Can they do the things they want to do when they want to do them and in the way they want to do? Building that capability is not only for our customers, but also for our advisors. And understanding also that there are times when there is a hybrid situation going on where advisors and customers are working in tandem to solve problems. So we need to be thinking about that as well. Once we satisfy those things, we can work our way up the food chain to personalization things, AI capabilities and enablements. And I refer to it many times, Emma, as Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You have to satisfy the base needs, physiological and safety needs. What does that mean? That means those things I was just talking about. What are the basic blocking and tackling elements that you have to have in place? Do people feel like they have the things they need? Do they feel that they are safely protected? And that's something I want to make sure I bring up as well. In all the world of this digitization and all the world of self-service and paperless, we have to always think about safety for the clients and for the advisors. It is a dangerous world we live in, and threat actors are everywhere. They are paying themselves to do bad things to us. And so we, as a company that builds our reputation on trust, we have to make sure that we continuously earn that trust from the distribution partners that we work with. But foremost to all of that is the customers that we share with them.
I really like that last piece there about the security is incredibly important. And typically when I'm thinking about like the safety associated with innovation, I'm thinking about like the big risks that you're taking and providing your team with the psychological safety. But I think that that's a probably even more important foundational item that you have to have in place, because you're right. One data breach can take down a company and pretty quickly, especially in our industry. So now I want to kind of shift, and thank you for kind of going through each one of those levels and talking through it. And I want to talk about like the cost savings or the ROI that's associated with all of these like unsexy things, because I think a lot of times when we're thinking about where the return on a transformation is going to come from, it's like all of the amazing things that AI will do, but there's real cost savings associated with everything that you just talked through. So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, back to the plumbing and the electrical. Well, I would tell you that I have done this at many companies, and the starting point in any companies is a 7-digit figure. I've never had a company that didn't start with $1 million or more in annual savings that they could realize simply by turning things off or doing things differently. And it can make a huge impact. It usually starts with looking at paper and postage. The paper cost is purely the printing. The postage is the beast in the corner. Postage costs go up every year, sometimes twice a year. And the pure cost of mailing paper after it's produced is pretty astronomical. You'd be surprised how much companies spend to mail things. So you start out with that savings of just the print and postage. Then you move on. You move on to staff savings. And so let me explain about staff savings, especially in the environments we're in now. It isn't about cutting staff. It's actually about not hiring staff as you grow. So imagine your business is growing year over year, as the annuity business has for the last few years. And we've seen record sales. Imagine if you could, that you could scale your business without adding people. And that's something that we're focused on. I'm not looking to reduce the number of people we have. There's plenty of work to be done everywhere. So by doing cost avoidance, not having to hire the next person, that's a big plus. Then it comes into quality, and quality is money, right? So every time you get paid to do a transaction once, you don't get paid to do it twice or a third time. And also, trust is one of those elements that you can't really put a dollar tag on, but you can, because if you do things right, if you create ease of doing business, if you have exceptional quality and quick turnaround times, there's a trust that's being rebuilt with that client, and they will buy the second and the third product with you because you're so easy to do business with. I talked yesterday to someone about when things go well with service, people don't know why they love the company. They just know that they do. They can point out when it's bad, but when it's good, it just seems easy to do business with you. So why would I look elsewhere? So it is around just pure hard dollars in print and posting. It's in cost avoidance. with hiring additional staff as you scale. And then lastly, about building and reinforcing the trust with the customer and their distribution partner, their advisor, in doing it quickly, doing it accurately, and just making their lives easy.
So then when we talk about, and what actually, I'm going to take a half step back. I do love that you mentioned the idea that when a company is doing it right, people don't necessarily know exactly why they love them. I have some brands that I could go on and on and on about, and there's probably not anything that I could like specifically cite as the one reason that I love them. But
Mhm.
if a company does it right, I am like endlessly loyal. So I think that that's a really great way of phrasing that and kind of like thinking about that, because I guess I've never thought of it that way, but it's very true.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Uh,
I've even found myself saying, Emma, when I say, oh, I love that place. And somebody's like, why? I said, I don't know. I just do. They know me, they care about me, they make me feel important. And so, but you can't put your finger on what was that event that made that feeling so strong in you. It's a continuous experience of events with someone or an entity that makes you feel that confidence.
Exactly. So we aren't advocating not to go look at emerging technologies and do the exciting things that everybody wants to. We're just saying that we need to take these foundational steps first. So once we've got these foundational steps in place, what does bringing in emerging technologies and things like AI look like within the insurance industry as a whole?
Yeah, I think it really comes down, and it's there's two phrases that are overused, and I'm going to use both of them, so I'll apologize. And if you get $1 for every time you hear both of these, then you're going to be rich soon. The first one is personalization, increasing personalization, and that just doesn't mean in the service or creating websites that you can personalize. It's also about creating products that are tailored to needs. I talked earlier about the fact that we have lots of different people who are buying our products. You have early investors, you have people who are in midlife, and then you have people who are really at that retirement time frame. And being able to create products and services within those products that can be tailored for them gives people choice. So starting with product, giving them choices around the features and funds on those products and how they engage with them in a technology standpoint is part of that personalization as well. Being supremely flexible. We don't give up channels because we create new ones. So when we create digital self-service, that doesn't mean we give up email, phone, mail, fax, document uploads. Those are all things that will still continue to exist. So where does technology come in and give us some lift? Here's the second one you get paid $1 for is AI. How do you take AI and let it work for you? For instance, when you're talking to your internal call center and you're trying to find out why are people calling, if they're calling 1,000 times a week about account values, why are they calling you? Why are they not going to the website? Because they don't trust the information, because they don't know how to access it, or they don't know it's there. How can you help them find the ways to get the information when they need it rather than waiting on a call? From a transactional standpoint, allowing people to work when they want to work. I mean, people have very busy days. Imagine if you could do those transactions that you used to have to call for or get a form for. You could do them right online, and we're creating that capability as it is. And letting there be a more interactive time frame around that. Another thing is technology is becoming such that you can examine all calls. You can tap into, is a person calling 5 times? If they're calling 5 times, we need to reach out to them and find out what problem they're trying to solve. I also am very interested in the future in focusing on the totality of an individual. Imagine a person starts on the website and they go to download a form, but they call you instead. When they get on the phone with you, you should know that they were out there and saying, Mr. Smith, you were out on our website trying to download a form. Is that what you're calling about today? And imagine how much confidence a customer will have in you if they know you know them, if you can follow them through the multiple mediums that you have to engage with them and seeing them realistically. As I was talking about, the goal is always first call resolution, if not first call avoidance. But if you do get that caller, understanding or reaching out, as I said, if you see that there's a challenge and being able to Know your customer. If you have millions of customers, it's only one company to them. They don't care about those other people. They care about them, their needs, their hopes, their dreams, their wishes, their fears. And so when you engage with a customer, imagine if you had the technology to give you the ability to make them the only customer you have. And that's what technology should be able to do for us in the future.
I love that mindset of making everybody feel like they're your only customer. It's like a perfect example of how to phrase personalization.
Yeah.
And the perfect little nugget for us to end our time together. So thank you so much for joining me, Jackie, and for everybody for watching. If you're not already, make sure that you give Jackie a follow on LinkedIn and let either one of us know if you've got any questions. But thank you again for your time and have a wonderful day, everyone.
Thank you, Emma.
Thank you so much for joining me for this episode of Leading Change. If you liked what you saw, be sure to subscribe and come back weekly for more expert interviews on digital transformation, change management, and emerging technologies.